Hi, I'm Rachel from Jimmy Bean's Wool, and today we're going to be learning the tubular cast on. Okay, so the tubular cast on is a really stretchy cast on that you often see used with 1x1 ribbing. You can convert it to other types of ribbing as well, but it really works well with 1x1 ribbing because it maintains that stretch that you get for 1x1 ribbing that a regular longtail cast on or another type would not necessarily give you. And before I actually show you how to do the cast on, I wanted to show you kind of the difference. And I've got some yarn here, some Rowan Valley Tweed that I swatched for my weekender sweater. And this first swatch that I did, I just did a regular cast on because I hadn't really paid attention to the details yet and that you're supposed to use a tubular. And you can see there's a line across the bottom there, and that is your typical like long tail line that you get. Now this other one that I've just started here is using the tubular cast on technique, and you can see I've got this nice line of ribbing that's running all the way down to the edge, and it kind of like almost folds over. It's really cool because it almost looks like it's like a folded or yeah, like a folded edge. So anyway, I wanted to show you guys the difference between these two so that you can, make your decision on which one you want to use. I'm really enjoying the tubular cast on. It does take a minute to get used to it, but once you do, it's got a really great rhythm to it. I find that I do the best when I am doing it nice and fast. So I'm gonna kind of try to slow it down here and show you guys how to do it. Okay, so tubular cast on is going to start the same way you would a long tail cast on. Pull out as much yarn as you would need to do a long tail cast on, and then go ahead and make a slip knot just like you normally would. So just like that, and then put that on your needle. And I have seen multiple places the recommendation to do this on a straight needle, and that's because the stitches kind of clump up together and it can be hard to tell how many you've actually cast on, and they sort of twist around a little bit. So it's easiest to do this on a straight needle and then transfer it over to a circular, but that's totally personal preference. You can see on that other swatch I did it on the circular and it was totally fine. So yeah, that's up to you. Get that needle out of the way. Okay, so once you've got your slip knot in place, you're gonna hold your yarn just like you would for long tail. So take your thumb and your pointer finger and insert it in between the two strands of yarn that are hanging down, and kind of spread your fingers out. Take your other three fingers and close them around the two strands. And then you've got the strand going to the ball, going over your index finger, and the tail going over your thumb like that. Okay, so that is how you do the setup, just like you would for long tail, nothing different about that. All right, so once you're ready to actually start casting on stitches, you're gonna take your needle and you're gonna go over the top of the strand that's over your index finger, come underneath it, and then you're gonna go over the top of the strand that's on your thumb, come underneath that one as well, and then you're going to take the yarn that is on your index finger, bring it forward, kind of twist it around and under the needle, and what that has done is lock that stitch in place, and it kind of pulls a strand across the stitch, and that looks like a little purl because that's going to be a purl stitch basically. Okay, so now we need to do the knit version of this stitch. So you take your needle, you go over the top of the strand that's across your thumb, come underneath it, and then go over the top of the strand that's on your index finger, underneath that, and then in that same twisting motion, you're going to go to the back of your needle and then lock that stitch around. And you can see on the back side, you have pulled a strand across it. It looks like a purl stitch, and then on the front, it looks like a knit stitch. All right, so let me do that slowly a couple more times here. You're gonna go back, under, across, under, and then twist forward. Okay, and then you're gonna come forward, under, back, under, and then twist back. Okay, back, under, twist forward, and then forward, under, back, under, and twist back. We do that a couple more times and kind of speed it up here so you can see that you kind of get into the rhythm of it. Whoops, as you go. There we are. All right. All right, so I've got quite a few stitches on the needles here, so I'm going to go ahead and end it there. Now, the tubular cast on is not just casting on. Like, yes, we've got stitches on the needles now, but you need to do 2 more foundation rows before you actually have completed the cast on. So we are ready to turn our work here. Now, this last stitch on the end of your needle is going to be pretty loose. So what I like to do is grab the working yarn, or grab the tail yarn, and kind of hold it close to your needle. Hold it steady there, and then turn your work like that. And by doing that, it will keep that stitch locked in place so that it doesn't accidentally come undone. So then you're going to grab your needle, and whoopsie, let's get that tail out of the way. Okay, so for your first foundation stitch, or your first foundation row, what you're going to be doing is knitting into the back loop of all the knit stitches and then slipping the purl stitches. So let me look here. I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. You know what? I'm going to put one more cast on stitch on here so that it's an even number, and then we can start with a knit through the back loop. Alrighty, here we go. Okay, so you'll follow what your pattern says, but in this case I have set it up so that I can knit through the first stitch, knit through the back loop. So you're going to insert your needle, knit that one through the back loop, and then you're going to move your working yarn to the front of your work and slip the next stitch with your yarn in front, and then move that yarn to the back, knit through the back loop. Oops, don't drop it off the needle like I just did. There we go. Okay, so the reason you're knitting through the back loop is because when you do the cast on, it twists the stitches as you put them on, and you need to get those stitches back into the right position. So knitting them through the back loop will put them back in the right spot. And then you are slipping the purls because from what I can tell, I've tried it both ways without slipping, but when you slip them, what it's doing is adding just strength and support to this cast on so that it's not too stretchy, basically. So I believe that is why you're doing that, and it does make a really, really nice, strong but also stretchy cast on. Okay, so once you get to the end of foundation row 1, you will go ahead and turn your work. And now you're basically going to do the exact same thing again. But instead of knitting through the back loop, you're going to knit them regularly because the stitches aren't twisted anymore, so you don't need to knit them through the back loop. So this first stitch here is going to be a knit. So go ahead and knit that one, and then bring your yarn forward and slip. And then knit, and then forward and slip. And then you just do that all the way across until you have worked all the stitches. And then once you finish this row, foundation row 2, you are ready to go ahead and start following the pattern as written. So let me just get to the end here. Knit and slip. All right. So let me see if I can show you what that looks like. You are ready to go on and start your 1x1 ribbing just like you normally would for any pattern. And this has made a really nice, like, rolled or folded looking hem. All right, so that was the tubular cast on, which is a super stretchy cast on for 1x1 ribbing. I'm Rachel, thanks for watching. Thank you so much for checking out this video. If you liked it, please give us a thumbs up and consider subscribing because we have a lot more yarn reviews, tutorials, and other fiber fun like that. Happy crafting!